Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, high elves, dark elves. Big shout out to the dwarves and all you demon spawn out there. Just like it's great to be in the Empire today, I bet you're probably saying it's great to be in Raid Shadow Legends today. You know what you're watching? Well, in case you're like, how the hell did I get here? Let me tell you, you're watching Arnold Holonet News. The only news you'll ever need because you have no other choice. People, I know the summer's dialing up the heat, but you know what else is dialing up the heat? Raid Shadow Legends. We got big update highlights for what we can expect as an overview for this summer, and whew, man, free legendaries, new legendaries, brand new events, mixing opportunities for all of your beautiful oils and extracts out there. Oh my gosh, pretty awesome stuff, people. But if you haven't been playing Raid Shadow Legends, we need to get you involved. And to do so, you need an explosive mobile gaming start. And with that, you have the King of Triple B's giveaway code. Use my link down below. Scan the QR code up above. If you're a new player, I'll be able to get you to go right away. Ugo at level 15. And Fane recently updated for my link at level 30. Amazing for the clan boss. And then you'll be getting yourself Deacon Armstrong at level 40. A lot of amazing stuff, and you're gonna wanna have it for all this new stuff that's coming here in Raid Shadow Legends. Let's get rocking and rolling, shall we? Because we got a lot to go over. So hope you guys are ready. You're sitting back, relaxed. You're coming from the Kyber Club, hitting the tavern, whatever you gotta do. Fill up your drink, because we need to do a little bit of chat in here. Update highlights 10.50.0. New raid update will soon be released, and we're here to highlight what's coming your way. Our primary focus will be the upcoming major event, Chaos Awaits, and its meta aspects, but QOL changes will arrive in 10.5. Oh my god, it's just so much to go over. My god. You know, for people in Galaxy of Heroes, you know, we get a road ahead once in a blue moon. It's where a normal update in Raid Shadow, it's like a road ahead all the time. It's like, dude, so much stuff going on in this game. Anyways, I digress. We've got a lot of the stuff already kind of, we already got heads up. We've seen trailers, you know, a lot of teasers. Chaos Awakes is basically the name of the game for the next couple months. Displeased with the recent failures in Talaria, Karausa, the Covetous takes matters into her own hands and leads the demon spawn host to conquer the lands of the Nyrisan Union. She hopes swift victory. Yeah, she's got a cool event coming around. Make sure your forces are vigilant. Basically, we saw this. It's gonna be the event, a dungeon exclusive coming around the corner, but we have this whole thing running from June 5th, which is starting 2 days from now, when we're going to be chasing after the brand new fusion. Super stoked about it. Going all the way to August 6th, they're going to do a two-phase split here, where we're going to get 5 new champions, 8 new relics, some smaller events, coalition events, so like new global type of events that we can do, champion fusions, event dungeons, and more. My, oh my, oh my. Then we also have a little bit of a decor change. I like when they do this, you know. Again, I play, you know, Marvel Strike Force, Galaxy Heroes as well. And, you know, Marvel Strike Force, they do kind of nice seasonal updates and stuff like that. Galaxy Heroes, unfortunately, it's like the same lobby. Pretty much no change since it came out. I can appreciate Marvel Strike Force, Raid Shadow Legends. They mix things up. Again, it feels alive. It's nice that it's more dynamic. So I know if you haven't played those other games, it's easy to have the tunnel vision, but I do appreciate these stuff. That's why I advocate for people to try all these games. Maybe not whale on all 3 at the same time. That might get a little expensive, but it's nice to like see the pros and cons of all these different things. Maybe we got to talk about that sometime, Gary. Anyways, I digress. This coalition event, as the name suggests, it's going to be a cooperation among raiders worldwide. Will be crucial for me. I've been wanting something like this in like Galaxy Heroes. Like I always talked like a Death Star raid. It's not quite that grand. It's not like a Death Star raid, but something where as a collective we kind of work together. They do sometimes do that. If you don't play Galaxies, you don't know what I'm talking about, but they do this event called Conquest, and once in a while, the more energy the community spends, the more rewards we get, but it's kind of monitored externally. It's not like an in-game thing that's monitored. Anyways, let's keep moving. Concept is straightforward. Complete quests that come in 2 types, repeat and limited, to earn coalition points to unlock milestones. So if you're gonna be in a clan and you're like, hey, have you done your milestones today? Well, if not, then guess what? You're holding the whole, not just the clan back, not just yourself back. Pretty much the entire world is depending on you to do all these coalition point stuff. Repeat quests can be completed multiple times and refreshed regularly. Limited quests are single completion tasks. Yeah. And then these points unlock person words. So it just sort of feels like a global clan versus clan type of thing. It's not like a Death Star raid specifically where everyone works together to take out Death Star. Nothing as grand as that, but still a way to kind of make the whole community work together. So it's cool they're doing it. Hey, you know, extra words you didn't have before. Thumbs up for me. The event dungeon. We talked about that a little bit. That's going to be brand new coming around. They do these event dungeons once in a while. We had one for Odin, then one for the Queen of Hearts not so long ago. Now we have this. Where here, pinpoint gears coming, pretty big stuff. We talked about this a while ago. Dungeon remains open between June 5th and August 6th. So later on this week, we'll be seeing that. Hopefully I can get around. Just showing you how I'm doing, but I'm hearing there's a bit of a challenge. And then Tholan Foulbeard, definitely excited for this new fusion event for the dwarves. Funny enough, my dwarves got massive upgrades just recently. Got another mythical dwarf. And then we also got Trunda. So I'm doing pretty well. And I guess this is gonna make things even better. Running from June 5th to June 19th, so 2 weeks. It'll give you a chance to summon a powerful legendary champion with a knack for taking down bosses, their minions, and champions from the Corrupted Alliance. And then we already did the kit reveal for that. And then we have new relics that are coming around here. Boy, Crown of Corruption, mythical. I don't have a single mythical. I got like, I think a couple legendaries, but anyways, wearer deals 5% more damage, receives 5% speed, when above 50% HP. Okay, below 50% HP, wearer deals 25% less damage and loses 15% speed. So really, oh man, you get a little bit of enjoyment, but if you're falling below that threshold, you're actually hurting yourself. So massive trade-offs with that. Covetous's Passion, where receives 15% shatter with a little star. Increase the champion's ignore defense by 7.5 to 15%. For 2 turns at the start of the round, has a 30% chance to place a 50% shatter buff on the wearer for 1 turn upon killing an enemy. Sounds all right, okay. Next up, Skull of Treason. Boy, these names are pretty banger. Debuffs placed by the wearer deal 10% more damage to enemies with higher max HP. This sounds great. I like the sound of this. Okay, let's keep moving. Gilded Pinion, where it receives 1% less damage for each turn of cooldown on all their skills. Again, I don't want to always like compare it to the Galaxy Heroes. This isn't quite Datacrons and Galaxy Heroes. I prefer the acquisition of this over Galaxy Heroes as Datacrons, where it's kind of like customized power that you can kind of plug and play in a bunch of characters, right? Boy, I don't know how people feel about Raid, and like people are like shaking. It's like, oh man, 1% less damage. Oh man, that's crazy. Whereas in Galaxy Heroes, they will have like 100% health, 300% armor penetration, 400% armor penetration, 5 million % protection, whatever it might be. So it's so funny when you compare. It's not always apples to apples, but it's like definitely these are a lot more tame. But again, these aren't like Datacrons or Datacrons. You build them up and they just delete in like 3 months. Not fun. These are permanent in your roster. Grail of Agony. When enemies steal or decrease the wearer's turn meter, the wearer instead loses 2% max HP for every 1% turn meter that would have been lost or stolen. Can kill the wearer. Oh boy. All right. Then Gaze of Damnation. Wearer deals 2% more damage per skill activated and receives 1% less damage per skill not activated. Like there's all these little tiny little amounts by enemies under fear or true fear. Cinder's Cloak, wearer receives 1% defense for each 15% HP missing. Okay. And then decrease the steel terminator effects are 50% less effective against the wearer. Okay, cool. Maybe helps make Armands less annoying potentially if you're fighting lots of Armands out there. And then what's next? Boy, on July 3rd, the second phase is going to begin, where we're going to get a free champion and a bunch of new ones on top of that. Let's see, and introduce our traditional champion chase login. Yeah, but we'll cover that in the event actually launches. Many other activities will be included, so keep your eye out. But if you summon four of the legendary champion that they have here, by August 5th, you'll be receiving an in-game gift. If you get Corrosive Covetous on top of that before the event ends, you'll receive a shiny badge to showcase that pride and accomplishment. So, seems a little bit in the vein of like the Queen of Hearts stuff we had going on, where we got all the Alice and the Wonderland characters. You get like a bunch of extra relics and whatnot. Not exactly sure what they're gonna be giving out, but if you want to find a few bucks in between your grandma's couch, you know, maybe you'll get something nice out of it. So we got a couple of rebalances. We have one for the dwarf here, Mountain King. I hope that wasn't really what the kit was before. Attacks an enemy. Fills this champion started by 10%, fills an additional 2% for each buff on the target. So they had a little bit more. I refuse to believe that's what the kit used to be before. Maybe this is like an old kit here. Attacks an enemy. Ignore 50% of the target's defense. Holy cow. This has to be one of the simplest kits. This is like almost Galaxy of Heroes 2015 vibes here. Now you grant an extra turn if this attack kills enemy. I suspect this guy just hits really darn hard. Don't have the pleasure of really relating to this kid as much as I would like to. Now we have as well, you can ignore shield, strengthen, unkillable, ally protection, block damage buffs, then decrease the cooldown of enchanted axe skill by 2 turns. This attack kills an enemy. And then increase the champion's attack, immune to decrease attack and block that skills debuffs. Okay, seems nice. Okay, it's a passive thing. And it's got an aura. Blind Seer, not too much is changing, except they changed some of the probabilities here, where on Visions of Death, instead of 30%, it's an 80% chance to decrease the Terminator by 10%. instead of 15%. So they moved some numbers around, increased some of the percentages for the skill tombs. If you upgrade her, instead of 5% extra gains, you get 10% extra gains. Also, you heal all allies now by 20% of this champion's max HP. Okay. Shoot. I meant to say shoot, not suit. Anyways, we also have the self-sacrifice. Got to revive all dead allies with 50% HP and 30% turn meter. Cool stuff. And then we have the new champions. I don't know how we're going to be getting this champion. I'm not sure if it's going to be maybe in the vein of like the Queen of Hearts, or there was some sort of tournament and wallets were hurt that day, I suspect. But here we go. Did we read this kit before? I feel like we've read this before. Let me double check here. Yeah, heals all allies, the value of this attack. Yeah, I think we've read this one already. Removes so many kits. It's like they all kind of overlap with each other. Yeah. Yes, we've read this one before. A lot of good stuff. I'm hoping it's not going to be incredibly difficult to get this champion, but it's a mythical. Who am I kidding? Stolen Foulbeard. For sure we read through his kit. Extremely excited. Pretty crazy attack champions that we're getting right now. Man, oh man. Can't wait to get my hands on. For sure I'm getting my hands on Stolen Foulbeard. Also, for sure, getting my hands on Lemonisi. This is going to be the free champ. We saw this just the other day. It's going to be a free login. Again, starting July 3rd, I believe we read here. This is going to be a nice free Sylvan Watcher attacker, and I'm ecstatic about this because I feel like, especially my time playing and when I, catch snippets here and there, it feels like the free login champions are like always like Sacred Order or Barbarians and, things, stuff like that. It's nice that we're getting a Sylvan Watcher, which I feel like is not a common situation out there. So cool stuff they're giving away this for free. But the basic ability, if the target's under a shield buff, you have a 25% chance additionally of decreasing the value of the shield by 10%. We'll also ignore 50% of the target's resistance if the target is from the Corrupted Alliance. If the target is not under any shield buffs, each hit will ignore 10% of the target's defense, like I said. Okay, cool, basic, all right. Intercept the threat. Each hit has 100%, so you attack 2 times. Each hit has a 100% chance of removing 2 random buffs from the target. We'll also ignore 50% of the target's resistance if the target is from the Corrupted Alliance. A lot of anti-Corrupted Alliance stuff. Who knows, maybe this will be helpful for the upcoming dungeon that we have here. This skill deals more damage equal to the value of the target's current turn meter. Oof. So if you had 100% turn meter, you have 100% damage, and that's a lot of damage, baby. Then we have the Venerated Warrior. Attacks all enemies 2 times. First hit, 75% chance of placing a 100% heal reduction debuff. Second hit has a 50% chance of placing a block buff. Debuff for 2 turns. Block buffs, heal reduction, big debuffs they have. Also ignore 50% of the target's resistance if they're from the Corrupted Alliance. Then the passive here, Scourge of Evil. Receives 50% less damage from enemies under heal reduction debuffs. And then you fill this champion's turn by 5% whenever an enemy receives a shield buff. Cool. All right. And then here are the new champions. Balar the Lost. Sylvan Watcher. A lot of Sylvan Watchers. Demon Spawn. Dwarves going on. And we got some Skinwalkers as well as Toppets. So a lot of crazy stuff here. But let's check this out. Legendary Spirit Attack. Sylvan Watcher as well. Malignant Thorns. Attacks an enemy. Before attacking, place a shield buff on the champion for 2 turns. The value of the shield is proportional to the champion's attack. Has a 50% chance of placing a 25% poison sensitivity debuff. Feels like we don't get a ton of poison sensitivity characters. All right, cool. We got another one here. Attacks enemies. 75% chance of placing Leech on all enemies for 2 turns. Instantly activates all poison debuffs on all enemies. There are a lot of interesting, it's kind of like feels like a bomb team. If you can spam lots of poisons, boom. Just trigger them immediately. Kind of gives me, for my Galaxy Heroes friends out there, kind of like almost a Jawa scavenger vibe, right? Monstrous Growth. Attacks an enemy. Before attacking, place a 50% increased accuracy buff on all allies 2 turns. Nice. Decrease 75% chance of placing a 50% decreased resistance debuff on all enemies. Dude, if you're pairing increased accuracy and decreased resistance, hopefully debuffs aren't going to be that hard to place. This seems like, who knows, this might be a champion that can help. Gosh, because one thing that's really annoying with modding, artifacting, gearing, whatever you want to call it, just I feel like I want to focus on like other stats, but I just feel like I'm locked into crit chance, accuracy. Speed's always a given, right? Okay, but it's like I want to not worry about, like in other games like Galaxy Heroes, I don't have to worry about crit chance, potency. It's just kind of a given. Here, it's like you got to do that before you do the other things. So this might help, like, not even worry too much about having high accuracy if you can increase your accuracy through a buff and decrease resistance on your team. Anyways, you place 3 5% poison debuffs on the initial target for 2 turns. If this attack is critical, places 3 5% poison debuffs for 2 turns on all enemies. And again, well, you got to critically hit. And then increase this champion's ignore defense by 1% for each poison debuff instantly activated. Cool stuff. Then you fill this champion's turn by 5% whenever a poison debuff is placed on an enemy. Ooh. Interesting. If you're spamming a lot of them, you're going to be getting lots of Terminator. Yeah, okay, cool. This guy looks pretty sick from the portrait. Gracchus turn Drake. Spirit HP Demon Spawn. Attacks the enemy. Will ignore 25% of the target's defense. Heals all allies with less than 50% HP by 10% of this champion's max HP. On the basic, shoot. Color of the week. Attacks all enemies 2 times. Each hit will ignore 25% defense against targets with less than 50% HP. And then the first hit has a 75% chance of placing a 60% decreased defense. Ooh, on each enemy for 2 turns. Second hit has a 75% chance of placing a block buff on each enemy for 2 turns. Each hit ignores 25% resistance against targets with less than 50% HP again. Nice having ways that I can just focus on other stats and not so much on accuracy. Also, Dragonkin Warcry places 60% increased defense buff on all allies for 2 turns, and also block damage buff on all allies for 1 turn. I love myself a good block damage character. Only 1 turn, but we'll take it. And Ferocious Ambition. If an ally has more than 50% HP and is under any buffs placed by this champion, that ally does 10% more damage. And if an ally has less than 50% HP and is attacked by an enemy under any debuffs placed by this champion, ally receives 10% less damage. Okay. If there are multiple champions in a team, only one will activate. And then we have Gnarok's Blackhorn. Magic defense Skinwalker. Let's see here. Epic champion. Let's check it out. Basic ability Knee Smasher. Each hit has a 30% chance of placing a 30% increased speed debuff. Okay. All right. Place a 50% ally protection buff on all allies except this champion for 2 turns. Place a counterattack buff on this champion for 2 turns. Okay. Attacks all enemies. 50% chance placing provoke. This debuff cannot be resisted. Nice. Again, I'm loving these not even anti-accuracy, but like mitigating the need for accuracy all the time. And if this champion's defense is lower than the target, place 30% reflect damage buff on all allies. Cool stuff. Whenever an enemy attacks an ally under an ally protection buff, has a 50% chance placing provoke debuff on the attack for 1 turn. Provoke is basically kind of like an ability block. You know, you're stuck using your basic, and you kind of miss out on a turn too. So kind of neat stuff. I appreciate what provoke does in this game. Then we have Glen Sage, Cithrel, Void, support, Sylvan Watchers. All right, cool stuff. Let's see. All right, 35% chance placing a 25% decrease accuracy debuff. Okay. Attacks all enemies. 50% chance placing 100% heal reduction. Okay. Place block debuff on all allies for 1 turn. That's not too shabby. And if you ascend it, you also get filled the Terminator of all allies by 50%. This actually seems like not a horrible legendary, or not a horrible rare. So wait, if I just, yeah, okay, all right. Seems interesting. I can dig it. Not all that bad for a rare. Yeah, looking forward to another great season. Thanks, player. Thanks, Emma, for all the info. Yay, free champion playing for 2 years and had 0 mythicals and 12 legendary characters in those 2 years. This content includes a free Lego. This new Chaos seems tailored towards endgame player. Oh yeah, I'm 100% getting the same vibe. I'll stick to watching all the player get paid content creators that need to pretend they get the same luck as the rest of us middle paying players. It's so true. I don't know how to explain it. It's like, the other day we got, I don't understand it. I got Kaldor, right, for the Sylvan Watches Unity guy. I'm like, I'm not gonna get him. Literally in 5 seconds, I get him. I open up like 20 some primal shards. I'm like, I'm not getting a mythical. I somehow get a mythical, beating the odds. I'm not complaining, but I just love this here. Let's see how far we get before the stage and everything else becomes hard to play without spending money to try and buy new legendary characters. Yeah, I'm wondering if, I'm assuming there are so many champions in Raid, there'll be plenty of ways to figure out how to beat this new stuff, but I'm guessing a lot of this stuff is going to be tailored, like maybe Tholen, for example, or, you know, what was her name? Lemonisi might be tailored for this event. So have to wait and see. Really excited for this. Excited to play Raid Shadow Legends even more with you guys over the next couple months. And if you need something to get you going in this game, well, people, look no further. I got one of the best promo code giveaways out there. Use my link down below. Scan my QR code. We'll be able to get you Tagore right away. Then we'll be able to get you WOOOOW at level 15. And then we get Fade at level 30. And finally, certainly not leastly, Deacon Armstrong at level 4, one of the best epic champions in the game, an absolute must-have. And that, my friends, is going to be Arnold Holonet News, the only news you'll ever need because you have no other choice. Let me know your thoughts down below. What are you looking forward to? Is there a champion that you got your eyes peeled for? Are you going for the fusion? God dang, there are so much stuff going on around here. But no matter what we're doing, no matter what day it is, what time it is, I can promise you one thing for sure. And that's how it's great to be in the Empire today.
Oh, it's great to be in the Empire today. sun never sets.